Namaskar and welcome to all today on this very special show, and which will be a series, of discussions continuing from today. And I have no limit for that. Basically, related to what our entire democracy is all about, the Indian democracy is all about, on my Professor Iyer's Infra Show, which basically tries to bring the economy, the constitution, and the country together on a common growth plan. The whole idea is we can't work in a compartmentalized fashion. We have to use all our faculties and fraternities to actually grow as a nation. And this is today is a very interesting day because just now we saw that the neighboring China celebrated that 100 years. And then I was just putting it up. It is basically an authoritarian communist model of growth, because it does not have a democracy. It's a one-party rule, that follows in our neighborhood. And the other option of great democracies, if you look at whether we try to stand and say we are the largest democracy, but really the big democratic values have still been upheld by the US Constitution and law. One of the recent developments is, howsoever what Trump may have tried, we saw that finally it was the victory of the electorate in America. Of course, just a couple of days back, the voting rights issue has come, and it's pointing, in fact, the first comment has been made by Biden himself, on that the voting rights curtailment is a dangerous issue. So American democracy is very active, and I think it has shown the way to the world. So what happens to the Indian democracy, which has been established in a beautiful way? Probably the finest constitution, written constitution in the world, because some of them do not have written constitution too. But this is the finest constitution. And what has happened to us in the implementation of this great constitution, the rule of law, and I would say to be a democracy and not look like an authoritarian regime. Luckily, we are still not a totalitarian model like the neighborhood China. China is a totalitarian model when we look at it. But, today I have two eminent leading legal fraternity from the Bombay High Court or the Bombay High Court of Judicature in Mumbai. And that is Sri Vinod Tayade, eminent advocate of the Bombay High Court, and also Sri Panikkar Sahib, who is also a renowned advocate, his colleague. And we are going to start our salvo with them because we have a public person, Mr. PVSN Murthy, joining us from Telangana. Murthy Sahib, namaskar, as usual. You've been always part of us,
Namaskar.
And he is also a renowned senior citizen and a gentleman of repute in his state. And not only that, he's been an old friend of mine for many, many years. And we all come from areas of business, energy, environment, infrastructure. So we have more of that connotation. And we thought there must be a kind of interaction with the legal community and see, because we are seeing all this issue bogs down to the fundamental idea of growth. And now people talk about GDPs. So today, China, let me tell you, is a $13 trillion economy. India, it can claim 2.9 trillion, but we have already come down due to all this losses, minus 7.3% growth. We come down to 2.4, 2.5. Some people are telling me it's 1.8, but I'm not taking the extreme views. I'm taking a middle path because some data is with us. And data tells us we have shrunk to at least $400 billion shrinking has happened in our economy. So anybody tells me that there is 600 billion foreign reserves, then they must also know that there is a $560 billion debt that India owes to rest of the nation. So with all these problems, what is the way forward? One is definitely the way forward is that we set our principles of democracy right. We cannot doubt fundamental principles of democracy and engagement with its own population. So we are at a very interesting stage where the engagement with our population seems to be hit very bad. So with these comments, let me first put the salvo. Let's first Tayade Saab and then Panikkar Saab, and then we'll go to public opinion. We are now our preamble and everything set, and finally after 1975, we are a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic nation, republic. SSSDR, if you look at it that way in a short form. Now, first salvo, what does this mean for the citizens of India? What does this entire connotation mean? That we are a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. What does it mean to us?
So therefore, Professor, we have to read the preamble first, and then we can explain to the public at large. I would like to read the preamble first.
Right, sir. Right.
So the preamble is the Constitution of India.
Right, sir.
We, the people of India, being solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political,
Right, sir.
liberty of thoughts, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual
Right.
and the unity and integrity of the nation.
Right.
In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Now, I must clarify that these two words, socialist, secular,
Right.
was incorporated by way of 42nd Amendment,
Correct.
was promulgated on 3rd of January 1977.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
And these two words were inserted in our preamble of the Constitution.
Right. So that means 77 would be the emergency period, probably, if we connect with it.
Right.
Right. So exactly at that juncture, this particular word, the secular word, and has come into picture, and also socialist problem.
Socialist, secular, these words were inserted
Okay.
for the specific
I know.
to make to show the world our real face of the
Right.
nation, that
Right.
we don't want to deprive anybody any chance of equality on the basis of religion.
So, sir, can I then question in the devil's advocate format that we wanted to clearly pronounce that we were not a theocratic state, which we were not, according to various other tenets of the Constitution. We were definitely not a theocratic state. We were a state which actually believed in the two fundamental principles: the Sarva Dharma Samabhava, all religions are equal, and then Vasudhaiva Kutumbam Pakam, the world is one family, more of a humanity. So I think no country had a constitution which actually pushed you towards this direction. And the word socialism should not be seen by virtue of the idea of emanation of socialism alone from Russia, but probably in the Tolstoy, I would say, spirit, in the Count Leo Tolstoy spirit of socialism, rather than anything else. You know, I'm just putting a devil's advocate thought, because everybody takes it in a political direction, socialism versus communism, and those kind of issues, you know, and then confuse these two ideologies. I don't see any connect between long-term connect between socialism and communism. As a person, I have studied for 30 years, tried to find, but people have been connecting it one after the other, because there's a Karl Marx diary, there is a red diary which went extreme, and Karl Marx diary is different. But I'm telling you, socialism is very different. We had our own models of socialism. If you look at the examples of these, it is none other than Jayaprakash Narayan himself who fought that time the emergency. And then we have Ram Manohar Lohia. You know, we had our own Madhu Dandavate, whose name must come here. You know, a great socialist leader who did not belong to any of the four. So I'm putting them political names to make India understand that our socialism was very different. And it would be more like a Tolstoy socialism than looking at a Karl Marx diary or the red diary is definitely not there in the Indian book. It is a dangerous thing, you know, which is happening in our neighborhood. And we are almost becoming a mirror image, you know, trying to fiddle with our democracy. So what are your thoughts, sir, before I go to Panikkar Sahab, sir? Are we trying to destroy the fundamental spirit of our Constitution?
I must say that each and every word used in the right from the preamble or in each and every article, they have their own meaning, and it is very specific. Once these words, socialist, secular, is inserted by way of 42nd Amendment,
right, sir,
it has some specific objectives.
Right, sir.
And those objectives were based on Article 14.
Right.
The basis is Article 14, equality before the law for all.
Right, sir.
And therefore, if we see Article 14, I
Right.
would like to read Article 14, very nicely framed article.
Yes.
Each and every person who is there on this land of my motherland
Right.
will be treated
The video is, तो आपका वीडियो थोड़ा गया है. So we can go to Panikar Sahib, can you just come in because his video is just out.
Yeah, Mr. Iyer, Professor Iyer, yes, am I audible
I
to
must
you?
read to show the
Yeah,
nice.
he's back. Sir, video. So I think Panikar Sahib can continue, sir.
Right to equality.
Vinod, you have any problem with the network issue?
Yeah. I think Mr. Murugesan has also joined us. N.
Yes, sir.
Murugesan, welcome Murugesan sir.
Yes,
N.
sir.
Murugesan is the former Director General of CPRI. He has also joined us. Yes, sir. Panikar
Glad to
Sahib,
meet
I
you,
think
Mr. Murugesh.
Panikar
There
Sahib will
was
come.
there was some interruption.
Oh, yes, come back.
Now just have a look on this Article 14.
Right, sir.
In this Article 14, nowhere the word citizen of India is used.
Okay.
Article 14 says the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the law within the
Absolutely.
territory. Means any person, he may be a foreign national, if he
Right.
comes to India
Right,
and
sir.
if due process of law is actually operated against him, then he will be treated equally with the citizen of India.
Right.
For example,
That means this is an international level law. It actually protects not only the citizen, but on humanitarian grounds, almost everyone
related
who
with
comes into
human
our
rights.
territory.
Yes. Moreover, since we are from a very cultured nation, we deal with the people, either he is from Indian national or a foreign national. A
Right.
due process of law would be equal for all.
Right.
And the classic example is Kasab's trial in this matter. I must mention the Kasab who was a terrorist and attacked Bombay. He was dealt with due process of law. He was provided to assist him to represent his case, and after providing full legal assistance to him, after following due process of law, he was hanged.
Right, sir. Right. So at this
This
point,
is the Constitution of India.
right, sir, at this point, can I bring Panikar Sahib in?
Yes, certainly.
So Panikar Sahib, your views,
Yes.
you know.
Today's subject, what we are deliberating upon is we the citizens for a resurgent democracy.
Absolutely, sir.
And the thrust is given upon the Constitution of India in the preamble, Article 14, Article 19, and Article 21 of the Constitution.
Yeah, the three, yeah, very important.
Before reaching to that particular point of the debate,
Right, sir.
I should point out that ours is the largest written constitution in the world. We have
Fantastic,
got-
sir. Fantastic.
We have got 395 articles in the constitution.
Right.
And I must say that this constitution consists of 146,385 words. And the miniature constitution in the world is that of Monaco with 3,814 words. And how the
Right.
constitution came into existence. Prior to
Right.
that, we were being governed by Government of India Act 1935, which was an enactment of the British Parliament. And a
Right.
constituent assembly was constituted.
Right.
Under that, there were various drafting committees and the drafting committee of constitution was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. But unfortunately, there is a whenever we talk about the constitution, the people have a misunderstanding that the constitution is given by Dr. Ambedkar. It is not so.
Right.
There were seven eminent persons in drafting this constitution. One was Dr. Ambedkar, another is K.M. Munshi, Muhammad Sadullah, B.L. Mitter, D.P. Kaitan, Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer, N. Gopala Swami. They deliberated for 2 years, 11 months and 17 days to draft this constitution.
Right.
And they held 11 sessions covering 165 days.
Right.
Now coming to the constitution, how this preamble came into existence.
Right.
The preamble word came from a Latin word called preambulus, which means to go before.
Okay.
And the preamble came into existence at the behest of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. During the drafting of the constitution, he has penned the words that what should be the objective of the constitution.
Right.
And that objective is adopted later, and this became the preamble of the constitution. So what does the preamble shows? It shows the purposes, uses, principles, and objectives.
Right.
And it was fundamentally and very fantastically drafted. It
Right.
gives a lots of liberty, especially with respect to the three aspects: justice, liberty. These are the most important factor which is there in our preamble. And the most importantly, the preamble came to be amended at the instance of Madam Indira Gandhi, and she has introduced these two words, as rightly pointed out by my learned friend Mr. Vinod Taide. He introduced these two words which he read out, that is secular and socialist. These two were introduced.
Right.
I must say that before the introduction of these two words also, our constitution never de-recognized the socialist approach, or we never de-recognized secular approach.
Right.
When India was when the United India was partitioned, we never said that India would be a country for the Hindus. So the element of secularism was existing there and there itself.
Exactly.
For some political reasons,
Right.
for some political reasons to appease certain people, to get the vote bank, these two things were introduced. And then there was a concept whether the constitution can be amended. There was a debate in the Supreme Court in respect of this.
Right.
And ultimately the Supreme Court said in Swami Keshavananda Bharati's case, Swami Keshavananda Bharati's case, the Supreme Court has come with a theory that the basic structure of the constitution cannot be amended. Otherwise, Parliament has got the right to amend even the fundamental right.
Exactly.
This was a major blow to the democracy, I should say, because fundamental right itself was a separate set of right which was given to the Indian citizens by the framers of the constitution. And if you go to this, Mr. Iyer, the Supreme Court was headed by Justice Sikri at that time, and the bench was a 13-bench judgment.
Right.
In this 13 bench, the verdict was given as 7-16. 7 and 6. 7 were for and 6 were against.
That means thin margin.
Very thin margin. There was an interesting thing out of it, which has happened in this particular case, Keshavananda Bharati's case. What was under challenge was 24th Amendment, 25th Amendment, and 29th Amendment to the Constitution. And the matter was argued by the legendary lawyer, Mr. Palkiwala. Nani Palkiwala. He was one of the best ever respected lawyer in our country. And in this case, what is
Nani Palkiwala argued this matter for an entire month in one stretch.
And the interesting thing was that this matter was argued for 5 months. 5 months Supreme Court has
Right.
consumed 5 months in reading this. And the interesting part was that our system of democracy in case of the judiciary was the Chief Justice of India would be the person who will be the senior most among the judges.
Right.
When this judgment was delivered, Justice Sikri had only 1 day to retire.
Oh,
Only 1 day to retire.
but he heard the case and delivered the
He
judgment.
delivered the judgment 7 against 6. No, that was not important. There were three other judges who were in line in
Okay.
the matter of seniority. And these judges were Justice Shelat, Justice Grover, and Justice Hegde.
Mhm.
You will not believe, since they did not agree to the proposition, the government, I must say, Madam Gandhi took a revenge by not proposing their names as the Chief Justices after Mr. Justice Sikri.
Mhm.
And Mr. Justice A.N. Ray was brought in as the Chief Justice.
A.N. Ray, right. Justice A.N. Ray.
A.N. Ray.
Right.
And being dissatisfied with this interference of not appointing the senior most judges, which is the convention, these three Leonard judges, Justice Shelat, Justice Grover, and Justice Hegde, they resigned.
Mhm.
That was the most important disturbing factor which arises out of this particular basic structure principle which is giving the power to the parliament to amend the constitution. Interestingly, now today, Mr. Iyer and other my learned colleagues who are here must be hearing a lot about the public interest. In public interest litigation, now anybody would be going to the Supreme Court and filing a PIL.
Right.
Otherwise, the citizens of India had the right to approach the apex court, that is the Supreme Court, only on one condition, that your fundamental right has been infringed.
Right.
Then any citizen of the country can approach the Supreme Court directly, which is one of the best features in the Constitution of India. An ordinary citizen on the footpath can approach the
Yes.
Supreme Court saying that, look here, the state has violated my fundamental right.
Right.
Under Article 30 of the
Under Article 32 of the Constitution of India, which itself is a fundamental right.
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 Now the difficulty is that now we had the Constitution, there is the provision for appointment of High Court and Supreme Court judges.
Right.
The Constitution provides for the judgment, the appointment of the High Court judges, but ultimately what had happened was, by virtue of the Supreme Court's its own judgments, that is called as the Judges 1 case, Judges 2 cases, Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association versus Union of India, they have challenged an act which was brought in by the NDA, this current government,
Right.
that is Judicial Accountability Bill, which has provided for a more transparent system of appointing the learned judges.
Mhm.
This was challenged by the Supreme Court Advocates on Record Bar Association in the Supreme Court, challenging the constitutional validity of this law. For constitutional amendment, they have to undergo a big process. There has to be support.
Yeah.
So in that particular case, the Supreme Court of India said, this affects the basic structure of the Constitution. Hence
Yeah.
the law.
So,
what I wanted to say is that
yes.
basic structure theory, which gives the parliament to amend the constitution,
Right.
has resulted in the number of PILs directly going to the Supreme Court.
Right.
For any damn thing you will find today, tomorrow there is a thing is going on. So in reality, what the suffers, who suffers, the citizen suffers. The basic concept of our Constitution of India, which I should say is the best Constitution of India, which we have derived from n number of countries. We have taken it. We have many parts from the Britain, from the Irish, from the Australia, from United States, and whereas the United States is the first country in the world to come out with a constitution.
Right.
And despite all this stuff, I need not have to emphasize what is the spirit of democracy today that we have? How
Right.
much freedom you have, which is available to you,
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ.
which is guaranteed under the Constitution of India.
So
That
now-
is the most disturbing fact. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Mr.
now
Therefore,
Iyer.
I'm very happy that you have
I must say
put the
one
weight
thing,
and Titus have
that,
started.
that the general public must know what is the basic structure.
Yes,
My learned friend, Mr. Parnikar, may
Yes.
elaborate it for the general public.
right.
What
sir.
is the basic structure of the constitution?
The
Right, sir.
basic structure of the Constitution has given us n number of fundamental rights. You have n number of fundamental rights. Today we were basically discussing about the fundamental rights guaranteed under the Constitution, Article 14, Article 19, and Article 21. My
Yeah, this
learned
is
friend,
just a beginning, sir. We
this
will
is a
discuss
beginning.
other
This is a
articles.
beginning. No,
Yeah.
what I wanted to say is that these articles, which is the most powerful articles under the Constitution, these I should say, referred to as the golden triangle.
Thank you.
These three articles together are called as the golden triangle.
Right.
Why? The Article 14, my learned friend has said, as far as Article 14 is concerned, he said, rightly so, it is available to citizens and non-citizens.
Correct, sir.
And whereas Article 21 is concerned, is the protection of life and personal liberty. No
Correct.
person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by the law.
Correct, sir.
This is also available to the non-citizens. But
Right.
when it comes to Article 9, Article 19 is only available to all the
citizens.
citizens.
Correct.
All citizens.
All citizens.
Which includes the most vocal things, right to freedom of speech and expression, which we are doing it today, right to assemble peacefully and without arms,
arms
right to form associations, right to form associations,
or
unions,
unions.
right to move freely within the territory of India, right to
Right.
reside and settle anywhere within the territory of India, right to practice any profession, etc., etc. These are broad aspects which have got restrictions. Now, for restricting these things, there has to be a reasonableness. Now, in the state means the state legislature or the union legislature, if they come out with a law which are depriving the citizens or the non-citizens these rights, the basic structure is infringed.
Right.
The Constitution provides, what is Constitution? Constitution is providing how you should run your country.
Yes. That is the
When
thing.
you are running your country, how the president should be elected, how the prime minister should be elected, how the voting should be done, how the auditing should be done, how the judges should be appointed, how the freedom, liberty of the citizens should be
Human rights to be
protected.
protected.
International human rights, the covenants which they have entered into internationally, there are a number of conventions. They have to respect all that things.
So today,
And our constitution provides for it. So if you are
Right.
touching those aspects and you are depriving the persons who are entitled to those things, that is, you are touching the basic structure of the constitution.
sir,
And
today I want to share something which the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramana, has just made a statement. It is very telling statement. He said, basically we have to establish the rule of law and not go towards the rule by law. Now, this is what is a very telling statement, and I want Thaddeus to comment on this. See, this is a very telling commentary. We have to establish the rule of law and govern by the rule of law and not establish the rule by law. Sir, what is the difference? Please explain to people today. It's a very telling commentary today, what he has made. Yesterday, he has made this statement, according to me, maybe yesterday or a couple of days back, but this is a telling commentary on the current situation.
Timing. I must say the timing of this statement is most important here.
Right, sir.
A person like a stature of Chief Justice of India makes
Correct.
a statement and directly says that we will follow the Constitution of India
Right.
and we will not go as per the whims and fancies as per the people who got elected after each 5 years.
Right.
That means we will not dance on the tune of the politicians.
Exactly.
We will
Exactly.
govern
Right.
the law of this country as per the Constitution of India and not as per the whims and fancies of the people.
Sir, the preamble itself says we the people. So it
We
does
the
not say
people.
we the politicians, we the parliamentarians. It is we the people, we the citizens of India. That is a fundamental principle on which we have to work.
This constitution is for the people, by the
Yes.
people, for
Yes.
all the people. This
Yes.
is not selected few people.
Right.
That is the message given by Honorable the Chief Justice of India, as per my understanding.
Right. Murugesan sir, you want to come in? We have N.
Yes,
Murugesan,
sir.
who
Yes,
has
sir.
faced the law. I had a 3-hour or 3 sessions yesterday. I will share with all of you what has come out. He has fought on his own. He barely got the help of lawyers other than putting up his paperwork. He fought his own case in the constitutional bench at the Honorable Karnataka High Court of Judicature and won his verdict. Murugesan sir, your views. We will continue
Yes, sir.
because we may have another 3-4 minutes link. We will bring the link back for all of us to stay. So no worry about time. Please
No
go ahead, sir.
problem. No problem. No problem. I am very happy to join with my friends. Mr.
Welcome.
Friday. Sir,
Welcome, sir.
namaskar, namaskar. In fact, I am basically an engineer and I occupied an additional secretary post. So they used to handle some legal. So without legal backup, you cannot run any organization.
Right.
But thing is that we depended on our legal advisors like that. So I know a little bit of things. But the reality, as mentioned by Mr. Panikkar as well as our Mr. Vinod, the reality is entirely different. What is now? When it started biting me, that means after change of regime, they started removing me, violating Article 14, Article 21, Article 77, Article 311.
16
Yes, 16 is central government employment
Right.
and public. But then what I'm telling you, they directly and 311 straight away they violated. Not only that, they indulged in forging a document which attracts about 20 provisions of the 20 sections of the IPC. For information of my friends, that case made me to learn
Law
legal
itself.
subject. So I enrolled myself as a legal student to understand the nitty-gritty.
While arguing your own case, you now practically become a lawyer.
No, sir, I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, sir. I'll tell you. Legal is we all engineers. We know, we think that our subject is a big subject, equations, all such things. But when I entered this one, I was really wondered because this was such a vast subject, and everyone was beating me because I'm an engineer, so I do not know anything about.
Yeah, continue, Murugesan sir.
That is not
Continue, Murugesan.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But when I entered the chamber, I was beaten up because I was not having any background. They talk all such things. Then I realized that it is a big field. So I have taken only service law, so I took only service. But my case involved criminal case also because they indulge in criminal forgery, all such they done it. I was not knowing that. Then I took the book of Mr. Jain, Constitution, big book, 1,500 pages. I started reading. Then like that, I started reading IPC, CRPC, like that I started reading. Sir, I will tell you, I learned so much means so much. Then I enrolled myself and as a legal student. Thanks to your legal fraternity, they allowed me at the age of 60 to enroll. That you should continue, you should not say no to the people. I am not going to practice a lawyer, but that legal knowledge is necessary for every one of us. Everyone, whether you are in science, engineering, business, everything. So I request my friends that please allow this to continue so that it will enlighten people like us to contribute in the society. So, sir, I
Very-
enrolled 2 years
Mr.
course in
Murugesh, Mr. Murugesh,
Yes.
I agree with you for one point that the people should have the knowledge of the law. I also
Yes.
would like to say this, that we have a parliament of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and we
Right.
have the state legislator. Their primary function is to legislate, to mean to enact the law.
Right.
Don't you think that for enacting the law, you should have the knowledge of the law?
Absolutely, sir.
And
Absolutely.
what is
sir.
the current how many members of
uneducated.
parliament, how many members of
friends,
the MLAs
just
are
a
aware
minute.
of it?
Just a
I'll
minute, sir. We have
continue.
this last minute. We have to come back into the link again.
Legal
Because
no
legal
problem.
literacy is
45
important.
minutes link is over. We'll come back into the link. He's refreshing. So
Yeah,
wonderful discussion. We will continue in a short while. Another 2-3 minutes max. Please stay on.
बेटा काय करतो बेटा